on it. So if you skip to the next picture, you can see it's the exact same design,
Yeah,
but
but it's
one's
a
got
rookie
a
logo.
rookie logo and one doesn't. And so that...
Welcome to another timeless moment brought to you by the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. If you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to support the show, please hit that subscribe button and tick that bell so you get notified whenever we go live. See you in the comments. And we're back with another timeless moment. Welcome, Russell.
Hello, how are you, Adam?
I'm good. Welcome to everybody on YouTube and on all platforms that we broadcast to.
Thank you for tuning in.
It's a different one this week where it's a bit timeless, but it did have a beginning.
Yeah.
I think we're here to talk about the Mosaic era, I guess.
Yeah, I thought it'd be good to talk about this set because for me, there's enough to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, I feel like it's a product that has changed and it's also evolved. And now there's some pockets of value and maybe there's some stuff that's overpriced. So I thought I would sort of just really quickly run through that. So if you go to Instagram, if you go to our profile or onto our page, the date that this was posted up was the 11th of May.
Yeah. You actually put the episode title like 211 Mosaic.
Oof.
Look at that.
Well done.
Timeless Moments 211 Mosaic Basketball.
If you see a picture of Dikembe Mutombo with a yellow and red background, you've found the right post. So let's start there, and hopefully I've got these in order, so this will work out really well. So as Adam alluded to at the start, this was originally in 1415 Prism. And it wasn't its own set as we now know it. It was just part of...
It was a parallel.
It was a parallel, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, I just really liked them. And I think really it's just as simple as that for me. Whenever I see mosaics, they're in WNBA Prism too.
Okay.
This is a segue at the start of the show, but in WNBA, they're actually a low-numbered
Okay. So they...
parallel.
Yeah. I think as a parallel, they hit different. To me,
absolutely.
Like they have a different feel about them. Yeah,
Do you like them, or is it something for you
I
just
like
kind of be
them.
like...
I
whatever?
like them.
Yeah.
I don't love them, but I like them a lot.
Yeah, okay. Because I think that's the other thing to mention here too. I suspect I'm more in the minority on my love for Mosaic compared to other people.
Oh, they're a good
Yeah.
parallel.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I first came across them in 2016-17 Prism.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the OG, in terms of the 14-15, I think it's a really great set.
Yeah.
And you can pick them up for, like, they're cheap. They're not, like, hard to come by or anything like that. You know, I'm sure some of the key guys are going to be a bit more expensive, but then there's that. All right. So for me, I skipped 16-17. There was nothing really in there that I liked a lot. And the other reason why I didn't include a photo is that because really in the design, it didn't change between 16-17, 17-18, and 18-19 that much. You can almost like get a bit confused over which set this card should go into.
Yep.
I did want to highlight though, so if you go to the next picture, the rookie autographs in them. So I think they look really good. Despite the fact that they're a sticker autograph, some of the sticker autographs look good and some of them look bad. And this is an example, in my opinion, of like one that looks really good.
Yeah.
The really funny thing about these cards though is that they do not have the rookie logo on it. So if you skip to the next picture, you can see it's the exact same design.
Yeah,
but one's got a rookie logo and one doesn't. And so that for me is like a funny little wrinkle too, because I think that actually devalues the card in that if you don't put something that needs to be put there right in people's faces, they forget or they don't remember, and then
no rookie shield. It's like
it's not a rookie card.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so I think that's a really like sort of funny one there. Yeah, again, the design doesn't change basically over 3 years. So skip forward to the next one. Then we've got the Don on this one here. So this for me is an interesting one because if I'm just sort of flicking back between them, as you can see there's a little bit of a difference there in terms of the design, but you know, it's nothing major that you'd sort of, you know, write home about.
No, this is where it was like a Prism mosaic, like it was.
Yeah,
it was really.
So this
just
was its own
card.
set.
Yeah,
yeah. And when you bought this, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, it was a very small box.
Yeah,
and it only had the Prism parallels in it, or the
Yeah.
Mosaic parallels in it, and
Yeah.
so you didn't get any base. There was no insert sets. There was none of all this stuff. It was just like, and so you got one autograph per box, and it was kind of a cool little rip because you could buy 18, 19 at the start. I think they were like 300 Aussie dollars off David Adams. So if
Yeah.
you had an account at that time, I'm guessing they would have been like $100. Like literally, they were just
Wow.
giving this stuff away. And so remember, obviously this is before the boom, but that also had Luka autos in it. It had Luka numbered rookie
Crazy,
cards, right? Yeah.
right? Yeah, for
So
sure.
I purchased this off eBay secondhand. The reason I purchased this is numbered to 99.
Yep.
My rationale for this was that this fit into my cost profile. And I was like, look, even though this is an 8, it's
Yeah.
still low numbered. Well, relatively low.
Yeah.
And actually, look, I don't check the comps on this that often, but the last time I checked it, actually it hadn't moved up or down. So I haven't actually made money out of it. I haven't lost. The fact I haven't lost money is actually what makes me happy. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one. Now, this is for me where it gets really interesting. So this is when they started making it a hobby, and then they added in retail, the big booster boxes, the blaster boxes. It sort of got all padded out. But what they also did too, which they do a little bit with Select,
Yeah.
they did these wild inserts, and they did some
Pretty
ones
cool.
that absolutely were terrible, but they also did some that were really cool. And again, this might be just speaking to my own sort of biases around, what I like and what I don't like. But I loved NBA Jam growing up.
Yeah.
And so they just completely tapped into that. So the first card there is Tracy McGrady,
The Jam Masters.
Jam Master. And then moving on to the next one, this is in chronological order. So that's Jason Richardson. And then that is from 2021. And so if you look at this one, though, and if you just directly comp that to the T-Mac card, just look at their head sizes.
Yeah.
So T-Mac's head here is in proportion.
Yeah.
But you've clearly got that NBA Jam theme coming.
Giant head starting to.
Well, the ball in the background, the ball's on fire, he's on fire,
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. But then here, like, they're going into full big head mode, right? And so, again, it's got that beautiful Mosaic parallel going on there.
Yep.
But then you go to the one after that LeBron James one. So that is from 23-24. And so my, at the time, favorite was the Tracy McGrady version one. And I bought a lot of these.
Yeah.
Like, I have got boxes and boxes of these. And my actual thing was, do you remember that comic book card that they did that absolutely went crazy? It was called Net Marvels.
Yeah. The Marvels were great. Yep.
I thought this was the next one that was going to like go crazy. And I was completely wrong about that, by the way. But, I've got a massive box of Jam Masters. I'm not too sad about it. But then this one here, which is actually really interesting because they look amazing to me. Black, to me, always signifies low numbered. They're absolutely not low numbered.
Yeah.
But they look amazing. And you can pick these up for a couple of bucks. And so in the pandemic, going back to the T-Mac set,
yeah,
the green LeBron, so not even the silver Mosaic, I bought one of those for $100. And this Jam Masters LeBron, which I probably think is a better card or a more aesthetically pleasing card, I think I paid like $10 or something like that for it. Like just
wow. Okay.
Figuratively nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one. Again, we're keeping in with the inserts on these. I think this is corny. I think this is really cool. This is the bank shot one. So whilst they curated a really good set of dunkers, on this one here, what they did was they went for shooters. So if you're looking for a subset which highlights shooters, this is where you want to go for this.
The bank shot.
Yeah, the other one that you
bank.
might look for in shooters is Splash out of Don Russ.
Oh, I did like the splash ones. Yeah,
if you want to keep in Mosaic, this is the shooter one out of that. So this is featured from the 23-24 product.
Yeah.
Moving on, this is actually a relatively new insert that they just put in. So clearly also new to the NBA, the in-season tournament. If you enjoy that sort of like sneaker art, if you enjoy the art that goes onto the courts, look, for me, these cards are not going to be worth a cent. In fact, I'd almost say these are going to be a bad purchase. However, I think these cards look really good, and in hand, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't collected the set just for the fact I didn't want to do the outlay and also just the time investing into, picking all these up. But actually, I could imagine scrolling through those. That would actually be like a really cool little set to pick up on that one there. Now, moving into the next one. So this is from last year's Mosaic, and actually these are technically a case hit. And so if you are in the market for extremely cheap veteran card case hits, these are called Silver Sparkle Mosaic. And so I picked up a Bradley Beal for like $1. I picked up a Brandon Ingram for about $2 or $3, something in that range. Like just stupid. Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you're prospecting on some cards that actually are low pop and you think that might be collectible in the future, this is something I think you could look at. I probably think the better play here though is not so much purchasing on like lower end vets. You just go for like the big dogs. So you go for the LeBrons, you go for the Anthony Edwards, you go for the Lukas, you go for the Steph Currys.
Yeah.
You go for like the key rookies, or maybe you go on some like rookies that you're prospecting. I think that's the play for this particular subset. Yeah. Now this next one is a case hit that was like very collectible in its time. And look,
is that a one of one?
No, this is the Genesis, so it's an unnumbered case hit. Again, clearly a lot of this stuff here is Darren Fox, and this is not about Darren Fox. It's just these are the cards that I had on hand of the cards that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, look, same thing again. If you're looking to get these are a lot more expensive, so that you're sort of looking that sort of $100 range for these type of cards.
Yeah.
But if you want to buy the rookies of these, actually, I think that's a really shrewd pickup in terms of getting case hits.
Good idea.
I think the thing about Mosaic is that not every card in Mosaic is collectible. For obvious reasons. They printed the life out of this stuff.
With that parallel, just out of curiosity, does it have that Revolution feel to it? Do you think that's why people might not be on it? Because the parallel's too busy? Just try to keep looking at them. I think they're quite aesthetically pleasing, but...
Because I think the Genesis is a rip-off of a Nebula.
Yeah, that's why I was like, have you got a one-of-one Nebula? Yeah.
I think the photo, the way I took it, it actually is, it's probably overexposed.
Yeah.
But when you hold it in your hand, it's actually more of a deeper, darker card.
Okay.
So that's
cool.
Actually, it's a terrible photo, to be honest. Yeah. All right. Now, this last one, I wanted to talk about this. So this is a very broad strokes conversation about Mosaic autographs. And actually, this is a part of the product which I think is grossly overvalued. And so these sell for, in my opinion, just too high, because I don't think the actual Mosaic set is that particularly collectible. I think it's...
For autographs or just in general?
Just in general. I think in general, it's sort of like a tier 2 or a tier 3 set that you would collect.
That makes sense.
And I think if we look back at basketball cards in 20 years and we do call this, a junk wax era,
Junk slab era is what we're
Don
in.
Russ, you're going to put into that. You're going to put in Mosaic. You're going to put in like Phoenix. You're going to put in Flux, all that type of stuff. Look, probably Mosaic's a little bit higher than some of that other stuff. Hoops goes into that.
Hoops and Don Russ are obviously the two culprits there, but you're right. You're, like, it's down in that. Yeah, right.
I just feel like for me, like some of the prices on these sticker autographs that go in Mosaic, for me, it's just too high. So I'm like, look, if you really like the card, and look, it's aesthetically pleasing, I get that. Yeah. If you really like the card and it's your boy, okay, fine, overpay for it. But also too, it's like, could you get an on-card NT?
Yeah.
For the same price? Could you get an on-card flawless? Like, you'd be surprised sometimes about how cheap some of this like flawless stuff goes for. Like, it's a little bit...
Yeah, that's true.
Like criminal some days, to be honest. Maybe this is what we could do for another Timeless Moments. What are your bargains that you can find out there in flawless? What are the bargains you can get out there?
And ways to look for them. Yeah. Good idea.
Sort of the, the flip side of this particular conversation we're having now. So that's the end of my rant. Would you like to add or subtract?
Look, I think you have one card that we haven't yet seen that we can tie this all up in a bow with. I'm very much a... I do like the aesthetics, as I said. Mosaic is a lovely thing. It started off as a parallel. It moved and became its own thing.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for it. I think it looks good.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of what you've said with regards to the... Like, you don't go into Mosaic for autos.
Yeah.
You go for these cool looking parallels and that bit of glitz to a card without it being too busy. So... Yeah, I think it's a nice parallel, nice variant, and it's nice there's a set dedicated to it. So,
actually, can we finish off with not a card from mine. So this is actually from at Ultimate Collectibles Australia.
Yep.
And the reason I'm citing this is because he actually put up a Shaq picture, and one of those pictures is a Shaq PSA 9 gold.
Yep.
And the
I've got
reason
the
I want to
photo up
highlight
here.
this
Yep.
one, so we were just talking about the uncollectible sticker autographs of Mosaic. So 17, 18, 18, 19 actually had on-card veteran autographs.
Whoa.
And so, for example, this one here, it's an on-card Shaq, numbered to 10. The gold.
Oh, it's the gold.
This is actually the right gold too. Yeah. So, as much as I was just saying that some of these are, underrated, look, you're going to pay a lot for that on-card gold.
On-card gold Shaq. Like, oh.
And so I think, for me, the contrast here is like Prism autographs. So, okay, I wouldn't be spending a whole lot of money on a Prism autograph. However,
It's
an on-card Mosaic that's numbered to 10. There's also the camo to 25, which I think is like excellent. But
the gold,
I never
the
pulled the trigger
on-card
on that for me.
Do you think they might be undervalued? Maybe people do see the value in them being on-card. But I for one, seeing an on-card auto like that would, froth at that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you for another awesome timeless moment.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. If you've got
tuning
any feedback, any comments to make, please drop them down below on the YouTube comments, and we will respond to everything. Keen to hear everyone's thoughts.
Yeah.
But until then, we will see you next time.
Peace.